Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. So I had an interesting phone call with TJ earlier, and let me just put this in the most simplest way I possibly can. So, the original plan for the Tennessee trip, as you guys remember, was for us to go next spring sometime. And then TJ was like, "Oh no, I don't want to go next spring. I don't even want to go to Tennessee next year." That was the way he worded it. Now, I apparently did not understand, but let me get more into that. So, what I understood from him was he wanted to come up here to Kentucky, but what he was actually saying was he really wanted to go some water park. I should have asked him what water park he meant. He finally did say he actually did want to go to Tennessee next year to me on the phone today. But for the longest time, he was talking about, I want to go up north and go to some water park, and I really want to go to Kentucky. And he kept saying that over and over again. But I don't actually think he really wanted to go to Kentucky all that bad. Like, I think he did want to come up here, but I think he had changed his mind when I showed him some videos. So, more or less, here's what was going to happen. So, I think next summer he was supposed to, or he had every intention on coming up here. And I think he had pretty much made it up in his mind that he didn't want to go to Tennessee at all next spring whatsoever. And the main thing is, you got to think, once you get far enough north in the wintertime, it's actually real legit winter or whatever. It's not like Florida where things can actually be open in the winter, because their winter is very short lasting, versus up here, it's actually more permanent. So normally that's why I go down to him for his birthday, because I'm trying to get away from our cold weather, and at least down there it's actually kind of nice and warm, versus up here it's freezing cold out. So like this year, for example, I went down to Florida where it was nice and hot, and I got away from all the freezing cold weather while I could. And then I came back up here. So that's what happened this year. And then next year, I was talking about doing the whole Tennessee trip, and TJ did give me that option. Yeah, if you want to come down to Florida next February for my birthday, you're more than welcome to. He is not actually expecting me to come down. So the reason why I decided that I'm going to come down is because of the fact that, well, I've got this plane ticket that I've got to use up. No, I'm not going down in October, so I've decided I'm not going down this year for many, many reasons. Just to kind of make it short, unfortunately, I have been out of work, sadly, for a while now due to sickness, and then family being sick, and then unfortunately, I had to, as you know, cancel out on the wedding because I originally was supposed to be working, and then the sickness would have kept me out of it anyway, so that kind of stinks. I'm moving again next month. That's another reason for me not to go anywhere this year. There's all these things that are going on this year, and as much as I wanted to go down in October, this year really wasn't going to work out. The only reason why I would have originally gone is if I actually could have kept that Disney World ticket on October 1st, and then I might have made it worth my while. But unfortunately, since the ticket did get refunded, and I had bought that several months ago when I actually had money, but at this point, now that it's been refunded in my account, and at this point, since I've got a plane ticket that I can use up until next year anyway, and it only can be used by me, by the way. I called Southwest and found that out myself. It's only good for me, nobody else. I have to be the one to use it. I either use it or lose it altogether. So, the idea of me throwing away over $250 doesn't sound very appealing. So, yeah, that's the reason why I was like, well, I would love to come down in October. I've pretty much gotten over the whole incident, what happened with TJ, and the fact that he was willing to, at this point, throw away his chance to go to the Magic Kingdom as a guest on October 1st, and the fact that he would rather work, which, is still cool, but there's nothing he can do about working. And even if he did, at this point, get the day off and he went as a cast member, it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, he can get himself in for free. There's nothing I can do about that. But, if it's a ticket that he had bought, on it with his own money, way in advance, and this was back when we had made that promise to each other, then yeah, I was a little more upset about that. But, at this point, as I said to him, I really don't care anyway if he goes or not. Because I really can't go, and the fact that, at this point, I'm basically just seeing with him, he either cares more about me or he cares more about the 50th. That's how I feel about him sometimes. So yeah, that's the reason why I can go in October. And then as far as November, I thought about it going down for my birthday, but then I also thought about the fact that I have a friend who has not been up here to Kentucky before in his or her life. I've kind of hinted at TJ who it's going to be. I'm sure he's figured it out by now, but I'm still not going to say yet, not until the week of. And there's a very high chance I may not have to put this person in a motel, because if I end up staying in my own apartment, then I might just have this friend live in my apartment with me on the couch, which is fine, because I'm sure the couch would be pretty comfortable. I'm going to get a relatively decent couch. I'm hoping I can find a place in Dry Ridge. If not, I'll have to go all the way to Florence. I did want a couch anyway, and this might be cheaper as long as this friend of mine is cool with it. If not, I might have to put my friend in a motel in Dry Ridge instead, and I still have plenty of time to cancel the motel. I'm waiting to find out exactly where I'm moving to before I officially cancel the motel reservation. So that's also why I'm not terribly too concerned about that. So anyway, that's one thing, or as you guys know, that's the reason why I didn't plan on going back down in November. So you guys already know why I'm not going down in February, because of the fact, sorry, you guys know why I'm not going to Tennessee in February. I'm so sorry, that's what I meant. You guys know I'm going back down to Florida in February. Now, the whole plan was to go to Tennessee in February, early March, which is when I would have had all the time. So, yeah, TJ made it very specific to me. He does not want to go to Tennessee until the summer, until next summer. So, basically, here's when he changed his mind. So, last week or the week before that, I was at my parents' house. I don't remember exactly when it was. It was within the past couple of weeks. So, I went over to my parents' house, and they said, "Hey, David, you need to watch this YouTube video about Tennessee." I was like, okay. So, I watched it. It was about 25 minutes long. And it was, really cool. It was really interesting. I love the fact that it showed so much detail and whatnot on both Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, and they were like, "Yeah, you should show this to TJ. Maybe he can change his mind about going to Tennessee. So at this point, I knew for a fact that we were going to Tennessee next February no matter what. He made that pretty obvious. But there was still hope that I could get him to go down next summer, though. So when I first originally sent this to him, he was actually originally talking about going. The way he worded it was, "Oh, let's see about going next February," and I started going through all the scenarios, and then he started telling me how he really wanted to come up here. And then he basically made it sound like it was more important for him to come up here than to go to Tennessee. So, from what I understood, TJ was more interested in coming to Kentucky than he was going to Tennessee. So I did this elaborate Facebook post stating that I did all this planning out for the Tennessee trip, and TJ basically just threw it away. Now, keep in mind, TJ is notorious for changing his mind on a dime. So, whenever I, set something in whenever I plan something out that involves TJ, don't be surprised why I planned it out so early, because I'm intentionally giving TJ tons of time to change his mind about 1,000 times. So, for example, I came to TJ about the Tennessee trip several months ago, almost a year in advance. And why I did that? Because I had planned it for next February, so I could give him from when I originally came up with the idea, because he had talked about going to Tennessee for the race for his birthday. So I gave him from the time I originally gave him the idea till early next year to change his mind. And I knew for a fact that he was going to change his mind at least 1,000 times between then. That's just the way his mind works. You'll learn more about how TJ's brain works in my YouTube series that I'm going to do about how I met Kay and TJ. And you'll understand the headache I've gone through the past 6 years. Oh my goodness. But, I love him like a brother. He's a strange bat, but, he means well. I know he does. Even if he does change his mind at least 1,000 times. If this says anything, and if you do believe in the power of prayer, please pray for him right now. Ever since he lost his dad, he has had a very hard time making up his mind about something, and he's become very indecisive ever since then, and sadly he did lose his dad last March, so he's been going through a lot right now, and unfortunately he has had a tendency to take his anger out on me. It's not always happening. It depends on what he's going through at the time. Lately he has been a lot better. I think he is starting to understand that he can't take his anger out on me all the time, because he understands that I also am sensitive, not just him. So yes, he is getting better, but anyway, but one thing I know for sure that he needs prayer on is his job situation. So ever since last fall, which was a good several months or so after he lost his dad, he started going through this phase where he wasn't sure what job he wanted to work at. And this is the first time I've ever, seen him going through a phase where he's not sure which job he wants to work at, ever. When I first met him, he actually stayed at the same job for a couple of years. And then he went to go work for Disney, and then he was with Disney for a couple of years. Then he went to go work for Universal, and he was with Universal for at least a year, if not longer than that. And then, he started looking at jobs closer to home again because he was getting tired of the drive. And that was kind of around the time that his dad passed away, unfortunately. Because TJ was up here when he was still working for Universal, if this says anything. So TJ had gotten laid off from Universal, and I invited him up here to come work for Meyer just to tide him over until he could get back on his feet again. And they said they would be more than happy to help him out. I'm helping you guys kind of understand the situation better. That's why I'm explaining all this. So TJ did come up here, and he was going to be up here for a few weeks. I had all these plans on things we could do together, and my parents were very, very gracious to let him stay with us for free. Well, after only being at Meyer for a day or two, we had just got back from his very first official day at work. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening. He went to go take a shower, and I got a call from his grandmother. I couldn't figure out why she called me. And then she asked me if I was alone. Sorry. Anyway, I was like, yeah, why? And that's when I found out about the news, and found out that I had to be the one to tell him, and I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. And I think in the long run, I did have to be the one to tell him, which is really, really sad. And I think I did get his grandmother to help me out too, but still. But he ended up leaving like early, very early the next morning. And it was so awkward going back to work, and my one coworker thought that he was just another walk-off, just like everybody else. But when I had told him the tragic news, he was like, whoa, okay then. I mean, it was so sudden. His dad had been up in Connecticut just taking care of things, and this is not like the first time his dad ever went up to Connecticut. It was like his 1,000th time up there, if not 10,000th time, and it just happened just like that. And TJ was up there at least a couple of weeks, and his family helped him bring down all this stuff. And TJ and his family stayed down in Florida for a little while, and then I guess his cousin decided to move down there to Florida, and his grandmother stayed around for a little while. And then his grandmother went back home again, and TJ got to inherit his dad's car and truck, and TJ got the rights to the house and the other house, and I guess he ended up selling it to his cousin. So I know that's part of the reason why TJ's had money. Not to mention, I'm sure he's had help from his grandmother. But anyway, yeah, it was a hard time for him. So, yeah, you have to understand that all of these recent events have caused him to become indecisive. So, if I do plan something for the two of us, and he does change his mind on the fly like he does, just please try to understand that, you know, he did lose someone extremely important to him recently, and it's not something you can just get over like that, especially for someone like him. TJ's autism is 100 times worse than mine. So, for TJ, this could take him many years to get over. And not to mention, unfortunately, he may or may not be a Christian. I can't say for sure whether he is or not on YouTube, because I don't want to sound anti-Christian by saying he's not one, but signs definitely point he is not one. And when he starts attacking God like he did even back when I was down there last, saying we need less churches, I understand that TJ is mad at God and hates God for him taking his dad away from him and everything else that bad happened in his life. But TJ does need to understand that, you know, things do happen in life that are out of our control. I've lost so many of my grandparents I got really sick not that long ago. I've been out of work for almost the entire month of July. I'm not blaming God by any means. I know that God had a reason for everything. I mean, if it were TJ that this happened to, he would be blaming God right now. But that's just the way his mindset is. Anyway, to conclude everything, yes, the Tennessee trip is still a go. It's next summer, and the next time that I do another update about the Tennessee trip, and I throw something at you guys that makes you go, huh, or makes your head spin, just keep in the back of your mind, it's probably only a temporary change. Like, say, for example, TJ decides that he doesn't want to do the Tennessee trip. Just trust me. It's going to be one of those, just pretend it's going to happen for now, but give him about a week or two. Give me some time to get his mind back on track again, and then we'll be right back on track again. So I'm just letting you know, letting you know that now for future reference in the event that this happens again. Because that's just the way he is. And especially with all these recent events that have happened to him, he's going to be even more like that. So hopefully that little background will help you understand his situation more too. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next vlog. For my next vlog, I'm going to talk about what is my favorite Central Florida theme park, water park. So I will be talking about whether Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon, Volcano Bay, or even the Legoland water park is my personal, or which one of those is my personal favorite water park. I have not yet been to Aquatica or Adventure Island. I will not be discussing any other water parks other than one of the Florida ones. So you definitely don't want to miss this next vlog. And when I do actually discuss which one is my favorite, I'm going to mention why that one is my favorite. So you definitely don't want to miss this next vlog. So I'll see you in the next vlog.